Okay, I think we are ready to begin with this week's Friday Healthy Conversation. This is being presented as part of Rhode Island World Diabetes Days Road to Wellness Challenge. We're going to be here every Friday from here until World Diabetes Day on November 14th. And this week we are joined by April Sylvestro. April is a diabetes nurse educator and the coordinator of South County Health Diabetes Center. And she is going to tell us today about how we can live well with diabetes.
Thank you, Mark. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope you're enjoying this fall day. As you can see, I have a little bit of a background here for you. You may see some falling leaves. So hopefully that adds to your enjoyment of this talk. So yes, I'd like to share with you just some tips and ideas perhaps that you could take away and put in your toolbox for living well with diabetes. So I wanted to give you a few little statistics. So don't think you're back in school, but falling leaves. What's that?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, oh, sorry, I just heard something. So let's talk about the statistics. Just a few little facts on diabetes. So over 400 million people in the world have diabetes. It's a lot of people. And in the United States today, there's over 34 million people that have diabetes. So to kind of narrow that down, that's 1 in 10 people have diabetes. In Rhode Island, we have 106,000 people with diabetes and 280,000 have prediabetes. So that statistic with prediabetes is 1 in 3, and that's running nationally, as well as just general diabetes, 106,000. So that's a lot of people. I'm wondering if you're surprised by the numbers. So many people don't even know that they have diabetes, and perhaps that might have happened to you when you were first diagnosed. Maybe you had no symptoms, or maybe you're just feeling a little bit tired, and then all of a sudden you have a blood test and boom, there it is. So there are a few main types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, in which a person takes insulin out from outside of their body. They give themselves insulin. Type 2 diabetes, which is the most common type of diabetes. Pretty much 90 to 95% of people in the world have type 2 diabetes. And then there's gestational diabetes, so diabetes in pregnancy. So how we treat diabetes, any type that you may have, is basically with healthy eating, physical activity. Notice I didn't say exercise. The new word is physical activity. Weight loss if needed, and also sometimes medication for people with type 2 and gestational diabetes. But the great news is that you can manage your diabetes. It can be managed at any point, at any stage, with some help from your diabetes care team. And also your support system. So your support system maybe could be friends or family, maybe a diabetes support group, or a group that you belong to. So anyone or anything that helps you. So let's take a look at what your support system and diabetes healthcare team might look like. So I hope you enjoy these Halloween colors, the orange and black. So it takes a village, and that old saying really does apply to having your team. And I like to think of your team and my team as well as a wellness team, people that are there to support and help you on your journey with wellness. So if you look right in the center, there you are, front and center. You are the captain of your wellness team. So you are always the captain. And then if you look around in the little boxes, your primary care provider is part of your team. And if you're lucky enough to be in a patient-centered medical home, you may perhaps have a nurse care manager as well. And a lot of times the nurse care managers are diabetes educators, or CDOE. If you've seen that CDOE, What that means is a certified diabetes outpatient educator. And that's part of the team that I belong to. All the diabetes educators in the state of Rhode Island, we belong to this team, the CDOEs, and CDOEs are nurses, dietitians, and pharmacists. So even in your practice, in your patient-centered medical home, you may even be fortunate enough to have a CDOE pharmacist who can assist the doctor and you with looking at some medications if you need them. So your nurse educator, your dietitian, your pharmacist, your eye and foot doctors. So that's important, an annual eye exam every year. And then at least seeing the foot doctor once a year can go a long way to prevent complications, as well as the dentist. So getting your teeth cleaned every 6 months, or sometimes it's even every 3 to 4 months, whatever they recommend. Your endocrinologist, that helps people manage their diabetes. The endocrinologists are specialists in diabetes. Your cardiologist, heart doctor, your nephrologist, maybe you have a kidney doctor, and maybe you have a neurologist, and maybe there's more on the list as well. And then on the bottom, if you look, are your support people. So your support system, perhaps it's family or friends, your animals, providing support, a support group, maybe it's your cooking club, whoever those people may be, they're a very important part of supporting you with your diabetes management. Maybe you have a chiropractor, maybe you go to a massage therapist, maybe you have a Reiki practitioner, maybe you do meditation or you have a special yoga instructor that you like. Maybe it's clergy or counselor or a therapist, and maybe you attend acupuncture. So all these things really, really join together to help form that support for you. Perhaps you could add more to the list. And so this is a video on when to see your CDOE team, your diabetes educators, so your nurse, your dietitian, and your pharmacist. Hope you enjoy the video. It's short.
If you have diabetes, you're not alone. A diabetes educator can help. Diabetes educators are healthcare professionals who can guide you in managing your diabetes. Diabetes education is especially useful at 4 key times. A diabetes educator will get to know you, answer your questions, and work with you to create a diabetes self-management plan to fit your lifestyle. A once-a-year health review with your diabetes educator is important, whether you're struggling to manage your diabetes or everything is going smoothly. A diabetes educator will find out what's working well, what isn't, and suggest fresh ideas or advances to empower your diabetes self-management. Problems can happen at any time, such as a new health issue, emotional distress, complicated medications, or financial issues. A diabetes educator can work with you to problem solve and improve your coping skills. If you have changes to your doctor, insurance, or living situation, or you are experiencing age-related issues, a diabetes educator can adjust your diabetes management plan. No matter how long you've had diabetes or the challenges you face, diabetes educators are available. Ask your healthcare provider to refer you to one, or visit diabeteseducator.org.
I hope you enjoyed that video. It talks a little bit about diabetes educators and what they can do for you. So I wanted to highlight, maybe you saw in the little circle in that video, it was a little circle and it says the AADE 7 self-care tips. So I'd like to spend a little time talking about those. The AADE stands for the American Association of Diabetes Educators. So that is one of our professional associations. So they came up with 7 self-care tips that you see on the screen that perhaps people with diabetes might want to take a look at when they're trying to set goals or maybe looking at some healthy changes for themselves. So healthy eating, being active, monitoring, taking medications, problem solving, healthy coping, and reducing risks. And these are all things that your diabetes healthcare team and diabetes educators can help you with. So let's break them down and we'll start with healthy eating. So I'm sure that many people have seen the healthy eating plate. I know the dietitian has spoken with you. So you can find the plate anywhere online. This is from the Harvard School of Public Health. So probably not very surprising to many of you that are tuning in. Usually about half the plate when you fix your plate is vegetables. It's a good healthy way to make a meal. Adding your fruits, so eating fruits and vegetables that are very colorful really can go a long way. And also on the other half of the plate, you take that half and you cut it in half again. So a quarter of your plate would be some type of whole grains. That means your whole wheat bread, whole grain pasta, brown rice. And then the other quarter of your plate is some healthy proteins. So fish, poultry, beans, nuts, your different meats. So this is something that your CDOE dietitian can work with you. Your CDOE dietitian does everything pertaining to your food and really has a lot of wonderful tips, and you can really help to manage your blood sugar. And a statistic that's very interesting is that people who see a diabetes dietitian can lower their A1C by up to 2 points. So that's pretty significant. So the next item that we have is being active. And this is very near and dear to my heart. I am a fitness instructor and a personal trainer for 32 years, and I just love to be active. And notice we say be active or physical activity. We don't say the E word anymore. So, so that's something that's good too. So these are just some ways that that you may enjoy to be active. So walking the dog, and actually, let me tell you a little story about that. So I have a lot of patients that have dogs. And one day a woman came in and her blood sugars had been in a very healthy range. And she came in and she said, gee, I don't really know what's going on. So we sat down, we looked at everything. And I said, oh, you still walking your dog? She said, oh, no, my dog passed away. And her blood sugars were so much higher because she wasn't getting that walk in with the dog. And you know, a lot of times we think we have to, you know, run a marathon or take a cardio kickboxing class to achieve lowering the blood sugar, but really just a walk of 15 to 20 minutes can cut your sugar by 20 to 40 points, or maybe even more. And I don't know if you've ever done house cleaning and checked your blood sugar. Sometimes that can really take it down too. So these are things that, you know, perhaps, you know, you didn't really think of, but a little goes a long way. So these are some tips, working in the garden. Oh, there's your cleaning in the house, lifting weights and marching in place, walking around a room while watching TV. Activity for my patients during COVID has been a little challenging, and I'm really proud of some of the things that they've thought of and just are doing. So they're looking at videos online. I have a patient who loves an Ally McBeal soundtrack rather, and she exercises to that. There's so many options. There's yoga online. One of my favorites that you may enjoy is Leslie Sansone. She has many walking videos, walking DVDs, but you can go online. You just Google her name, Leslie Sansone, and you can follow along with her, and it's actually walking in place in the comfort of your own home. So if you're at work, you can walk at lunch, you can exercise in your chair, moving your legs around, taking the stairs, standing while on the phone or walking around when you're on the phone, or reading or eating, going and talking face to face with your coworkers. Many of us are at home now, so finding ways, and it can be a challenge sometimes to be active. And when you're able to go out, perhaps you'd like to take a class or walk after dinner, or going dancing, parking as far away from the door as you can. And then there's also, have you heard about just good, healthy getting your steps in? So that is, the goal is to get in 10,000 steps in a day. So people can measure that with a Fitbit or a pedometer, or I have the new iTouch one. I haven't taken it out of the box yet. So, but I'm going to be doing that soon. So there's many different ways that you can do that. But exercise, physical activity, being active can really, really help to control your blood sugar. And there's so many benefits. There's weight loss. And then once you lose the weight, you can maintain your weight with exercise. Lowering risk for heart disease, certain types of cancers, osteoporosis, many, many things that it does. It also improves your sleep and well-being, and can really decrease the symptoms of depression and anxiety. So next, let's look at monitoring. So I'm wondering who out there in our audience monitors their blood sugar. Do you monitor it with a meter, or are you using one of the newer CGMs that are very exciting? So CGM is a continuous glucose monitor, and perhaps you've seen the commercials for Dexcom or the Libre Freestyle. The Libre has a lot of commercials, and you wear a little white button on the back of your arm. So when you see your diabetes educator, we can really take some of the mystery out of what's in that meter box. So, sometimes maybe this happened to you, you were prescribed a meter, you're like, what do I do with this? So we can get it set up for you, we can show you how to use it, and most importantly, we can kind of see what meter is covered by your insurance, and where, if the insurance has a place for you to get that meter, where you would get it from. So most often you get it from your regular pharmacy, but some plans want you to get it through mail order. So we look at the best options for you in terms of cost, which is really good. We can also help you to set up an ongoing plan for what your blood sugars are, where the goals are, when to call your healthcare team if it's a little too high, what to do if your blood sugar is too high, too low. And also with a CGM, we can also help you look at how to track data and help to look at, it's called time and target. So the time and target when you're using a CGM or a continuous glucose monitor is very, very important, because it shows the time for 24 hours of what your blood sugar is doing. So that's an exciting thing. So next, speaking of your numbers, have you heard the saying, know your numbers? It's a popular saying with educators and people with diabetes alike. So diabetes you need to get your specific targets from your healthcare team. So these are just basic targets. Many of my patients that I work with, we have a little different targets, but these are just some basic guidelines for you. So usually before a meal, we're looking for a blood sugar target of 80 to 130. And then if you test 1 to 2 hours after you start a meal, it's usually we want to see it less than 180. So those are targets from the American Diabetes Association. Sometimes people have a blood sugar target before meals of 100 to 180. So everyone's a little bit different. So work with your team on what's going to be the best for you. And then, does anyone out there know what the A1C is? Do you get an A1C? So an A1C is a blood test that you get that shows your blood sugar estimated average over the past 3 months. So sometimes you'll get one every 3 months. Sometimes the doctor may order one every 6 months. But usually a goal with your A1C around 7 is usually a good goal for a starting point with everybody. Now, some people, your healthcare team may say 7 or below, or some people, maybe their guideline is an A1C of 8 or below. So you just have to check with your provider and your diabetes healthcare team. So next, in our toolbox of the AAD7 is taking medications. So the pharmacist is going to speak with you. Mark, I think it's the end of this month. I think the pharmacist is coming. Oh, I can't hear you. You muted. Oh, Mark's on mute. So the pharmacist, I believe, is going to be giving a talk at the end of the month.
We will have a pharmacist as part of our, sorry about that. I could not figure out how to unmute myself, but that's correct. We will have a pharmacist as part of these presentations for sure.
Wonderful. Okay, so the pharmacist will really be able to give you a lot of good information on medication. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So your CDOE pharmacist knows everything there is to know about medications, whether it be prescriptions or over-the-counter medications. Some of the hints, helpful hints, if you're not doing it already, is to carry your current medication list with you. And please include everything, your prescription meds, any over-the-counter meds you take, like if you take ibuprofen or Tylenol regularly, any herbals. Oh, I just, newsflash, pharmacist will present on October 23rd at 12 p.m. Thank you, Deb. So you want to include your prescription medications on your list, over-the-counter meds, your herbals, any supplements, and any vitamins as well. Taking the meds at the right time every day. So whatever your provider has suggested to you, you want to try for that time every day. And also sharing your concerns and questions with your diabetes healthcare teams, especially your pharmacist, because they may give you some insight on how to take the medication. Also, if any food or other medications interact with the medication that you're taking, so they can really help you with that. And also your diabetes team and your CDOE pharmacist may also provide you with some tips for some cost-saving ideas. And for medication savings, I know you can see the screen, so you can check out diabetes.org, which is the American Diabetes Association, and the diabeteseducator.org, that is the AADE, and they have some medication affordability resources as well. So the next in your toolbox is problem solving, and your diabetes educators can help you with this. So problem solving is actually a good technique that can help reduce stress. I find that people with diabetes, my patients that I see, are incredible problem solvers. They're trying to make the best decisions for what their blood sugars are, decisions including what to eat at that given time, when to eat, how much to eat, their activity level, and also perhaps they're adjusting some medications depending on their blood sugars. So problem solving is really key. In a few moments, we're going to look at SMART goal setting, and that's a little piece of problem solving that you may like. So this is a good checklist. It's very quick, but if you're feeling very stressed and you're thinking of a problem that's come up, you can use this. If you write it on a piece of paper, you can say, I noticed, and then you state the problem, and then you see what you can do. And then you say what you will do. So say, for instance, I notice my blood sugar is higher after dinner. And you think about some of the solution options and you say, I can, well, let's see, there's a number of things that might be possible. Maybe you need a little tune-up with your CDOE dietitian, and maybe the carbs need to be adjusted. Perhaps maybe your medication for that time after dinner needs to be adjusted as well. And how about maybe taking a walk or being active? Maybe you want to clean out a closet or take a walk, and that may cut your sugar 20, 40, or maybe even more points. So you can use some of those tools. And I'm sure you can come up with a lot more solutions too. And then you have to kind of pick one thing at a time. So out of those suggestions, maybe just try one thing. It's always good to start small and branch out from there, because you can always do that. So perhaps you pick, I'm going to take a walk after dinner. And then that's where the I will goes in that box. So what do you choose? And that can really, really help. And then you kind of evaluate that and see what it did. And that can really help stress. So looking at the next slide, be a SMART goal setter. So what SMART stands for is a goal that is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and picking a time frame. So for example, if you say, well, I want to lose weight. Okay, so that's a goal for a lot of people, myself included. So where you would go from there is you would pick one small action that you'd like to work on for your goal. And then you kind of make a statement about that. So I'd like to lose 5 pounds by November 1st. Is that specific? That's specific. That's measurable. And I will do that by cutting down my junk food intake in the evening, say, perhaps. I'm sure you could come up with your own solutions, but see how that is very SMART. It's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and there is a time frame. So picking one small action is one of the most important things that you can do, because you can focus just on that one thing, give it your all, and then go on from there. Most important thing when you set goals is to try to set them up so that where you know you have success. So, and also when you look at that one action, see what action will give you the biggest bang for your buck. So the thing that came to my mind was snacking at night. So there's a million probably different actions that I could have picked, but I thought, that snacking at night might give me the biggest bang for my buck. And it's something that I feel is important, and I feel that I'm willing to do, and I'm confident that I can do it. So these are the things that your diabetes educators can work with you on that. And then call in the reinforcements, your diabetes care team, your support systems. Maybe it's your family, your friends. You may say to your significant other or your kids, hey, listen, don't bring the junk food in the house, or keep it in your own drawer, so that really can be helpful. Make it fun, maybe you decide in place of snacking at night, maybe you're going to do a fun project, like maybe you like to knit or crochet, or maybe you're going to do the Leslie Sansone walking video in your living room, or perhaps you're going to read, and get connected. There's a lot of different apps and different tools online that you can use, and your diabetes educators can point you in the right directions. Keeping track of your progress. So sometimes people create a food diary or an activity log, or perhaps you are on MyFitnessPal, so you can track that way. Or maybe some of you out there are doing Weight Watchers or the Noom. The Noom is one of the weight loss programs. Celebrate your successes. So that's the one thing we forget about, is really celebrate your successes. So what would give you the most meaning in terms of when you achieve something? Spend some time thinking about that, and really be proud of your achievement. And then goals are never done, are they? So after you set, you finish a goal, you want to set the next goal. All right. So looking at reducing risks. So this is a very, very busy slide. So I thought I'd make it fun with some colors and some shapes. So let's look right dead center. So these are some of the things that can help you reduce the risk and complications of diabetes. So those regular medical appointments with your primary care physician, PCP, your dentist, your eye and foot doctors, seeing your CDOE team, because we always make sure that you're on track with that, taking your meds, getting sleep, and discussing any sadness or distress that you might have with your doctor or counselor. That's really important because people with diabetes have a higher risk for depression and anxiety. Get help to stop smoking or vaping. When you stop smoking, did you know that you can lower your A1C by up to 38% when you stop smoking? Have a sick day plan, especially as we come closer to the flu season. And if you shoot over to the right-hand side of the screen, making sure that you get your flu shot and other vaccines. So you can get your vaccines and flu shots at your pharmacies. Sometimes they're doing them in your primary care provider's office as well. But make sure it's a good time now to get your flu shot. So let's look at some other options here. Being active your way, monitoring your blood glucose and knowing your numbers. Brush and flossing your teeth, healthy eating, managing stress, and checking your feet every day is so important. And then that big circle on the right, celebrate your successes. So since stress is a big factor for everybody, especially in this time with COVID, let's look at some stress things. So yikes. So stress does happen. And stress, I don't know if you've had any experience with that with your blood sugars, but stress can really take your blood sugars up. In some people that I work with diabetes, it's not unusual if they're very, very stressed that their blood sugar can go up to 400 or more. And that people don't realize just how much stress can affect that. So if we look at our last number 7 in the toolbox is healthy coping. So perhaps you've experienced, if you are tuning in and you have prediabetes or diabetes, or you're living with someone that does, it can really affect emotions sometimes, depending on your blood sugar levels. And emotions can really affect your ability to manage day-to-day life and diabetes day-to-day tasks. Your diabetes care team can really help. So if you feel comfortable, share any emotions or feelings that you're having, and they may help you find a solution to cope. A lot of times, just small little changes in your routine, or even if the pharmacist, your CDOE pharmacist or your primary care provider, sometimes they can tweak your medicine if your sugars have been really high and you're feeling very stressed and emotional about that, can really make all the difference. And then in turn, that will enable you to better help to manage your blood sugars and your diabetes and stay healthy. So to cope, what that means is to deal with or overcome a problem. And there are certainly ways to cope, either healthy or unhealthy ways. So some unhealthy ways, maybe perhaps could be binge eating, or maybe just feeling like you don't want to exercise, or maybe you stop taking your blood sugar, because you're stressed or you feel depressed, and maybe that happens. But some of the healthier coping strategies, you can be active, see a counselor or a therapist, yoga they have online now, meditation. There's some wonderful classes and meditation offerings that we have on the road to wellness with the diabetes, World Diabetes Day, sorry. Find a hobby, maybe spending time with friends or family, or maybe your pets Pets have a significant impact on reducing stress. Maybe you like to journal. Maybe you join a stop smoking program. Everything is pretty much telehealth now, so you can stay safe in the privacy of your own home with a telehealth appointment. Maybe joining a support group. So the American Diabetes Association has support groups that you can check out on their website, diabetes.org. And perhaps you use prayer, or you can attend church online. So there are many things. And I'm wondering what you do to cope. So perhaps you can share that in a few moments. So just a couple of things, and I'm going to read this to you because this cartoon is so wonderful and so old, it's hard to see. So sometimes it is hard to be relaxed. So you have a patient with their doctor, and the patient says, I'm learning how to relax, doctor, but I want to relax better, faster, and I want to be on the cutting edge of relaxation. Yikes. So next. Laughter can surely help. According to the latest scientific research, the human body is 60% water and 40% stress. And next, might be time for a vacation if this is happening to you. Yes, sir, I agree. It's wonderful that you can contact me anytime, anywhere. Yikes. Need a vacation and a little less social media time. So if we have a few moments, just a minute out of your time, I want to show you a really quick and wonderful way to reduce your stress. It's just doing a little breathing. So I want to just show you a simple technique. This will actually help to lower your blood sugar if your blood sugar is high from stress. They've proven it, they've studied it. After just simple breathing, when people were studied, they took blood samples, they looked at the chemicals in the body that raise the blood sugar, and all those chemicals were down. So if you'd like to just find a comfortable place, I'd like to invite you just to relax a little bit, shake yourself out, adjust yourself. If you'd like, you can close your eyes, feet on the floor, feeling your body supported by the chair or the floor, wherever you're sitting, or perhaps you're standing. Just feel supported. And as you breathe in, just breathe in. And now exhale out. And notice your breath. Breathing in and out. And now on your next inhalation, breathe in. And now as you exhale the breath, just make that a little bit longer. So exhale out and take your time. So what might be helpful is as you breathe in 1, 2, 3, and now breathe out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So continue your breath. Noticing that your exhalation is a little bit longer than your inhalation. And what this does is it calms the body. It shuts off the part in our brain that tells us you're stressed. And what it does is it tells us that we can relax. It gives us permission to relax. So one more breath wherever you are. And now when you're ready, wiggle your fingers and toes and slowly open your eyes. I think that took about 20 seconds, if anyone was timing it. So a very quick technique that you can use anywhere, anytime, any place. You can do it falling asleep. Just make the out breath a little bit longer than your in breath. Okay. So with that, we'll look at the last slide, which gives you a few little resources. So I just want to say, you've got this. this is a challenging time in the months that we've been through, and you really have got this. Please use your diabetes healthcare team and really look on our website, find a CDOE near you. So your CDOE is your nurse diabetes educator, your dietitian, and your pharmacist. And the website is there. You can check out our diabetes skills video for South County Health Diabetes Center. It's a wonderful video. You can click on the topics that you want, and we can meet in the video. So it's under southcountyhealth.org. You go under programs, diabetes management, and look for diabetes skills video. And I'd like to thank you for listening today. And I wish you and your family many blessings for health and happiness.
Thank you very much for that, April. That was great. I want to invite our audience to submit your questions. If you have any questions for April right now, you can type them in the chat. There's a little Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. You can click that and type in your questions, and we will do our best to answer them. We do have one question that came in, April. Very interesting information. What is the quickest, most healthy way to get your blood sugar up when needed?
Oh, that's a great question. So I have this on the video, so you can go to the video, but I'm going to tell you quickly now. So this is what I was talking about, looking at your blood sugar goals. So not only for where the blood sugar should be, but what is the goal that you and your healthcare team, your diabetes team have you talked with? So depending on age, usually a good place to start, where I like to start, is 80 or below. Now, if someone's in their 20s, maybe they're pregnant, they're young, we go 70 or below. So what we say is, if your blood sugar is below 80 and you have perhaps the signs of low blood sugar, maybe you are shaky or weak, or you're sweating, you feel dizzy, maybe you feel hungry, maybe you just don't feel right. And then other times, maybe you don't have symptoms. So that's the time to test. So I'm wondering if you have a meter and can test. When you test, if your sugar is 80 or below, you want to go ahead and treat it. So how you treat is with a quick source of sugar. So glucose tablets are really great. So you would usually use 3 or 4 of those. Or if you had juice, you would take 4 ounces of juice or regular soda. So not diet soda, because you want the regular soda with the sugar, because you want to pick the sugar up. Then in about 15 minutes after you've treated, you want to test your blood again. And if it's on its way up, like say it's 80 or above, then you go ahead and eat. So you either have a snack, you can have a granola bar, some peanut butter and crackers, or you would eat your regular meal if you were just before mealtime. I hope that answers your question.
That's great. That's super helpful. Thanks. Well, I certainly appreciated the information you shared with us today, April, especially that breathing exercise, which I found to be incredibly relaxing.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You could do those podcasts with like the guided meditations. That was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
So not seeing any other questions from our audience at this moment, but I do want to, again, thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank April Sylvestro from South County Health Diabetes Center. And we will be back here next Friday with another presentation on the Road to Wellness Challenge. Again, all of it leading up to World Diabetes Day, which will be online all day on November 14th. And you can find more information about that at riwdd.org. So once again, thank you everybody for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your day.